It's time to place your bets. Let's step into the huddle.
You're listening to the PreSnap Podcast weekly wagering show brought to you by LineStar app, the top-rated DFS tool set and #1 companion for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Go LineStar Premium now at LineStarApp.com. Now, here are your hosts, Joe Pizzapia and Scott Bogman.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia, and welcome to the PreSnap right here on the LineStar app. It is me, it is Scott Bogman, and it's you. And we got 2 games to pick this Sunday, so we're going to do it courtesy of the LineStar app. Make sure you go out and get that LineStar app right now. That way we don't have any problems, all right? You don't want problems. Next thing you know, my cousins come over to see you, have a little conversation about a few things. And if you don't have an espresso machine, and they're going to get really upset, all right? That's like the only way you can get out of the conversation with my family. But look, we're coming anyway for the LineStar
your cousins versus my cousins.
Yo, your cousins and my cousins, that would be one hell of a cornhole matchup.
That'd be a good one.
Bogman's Texas cousins and all my cousins named Vinny would be a spectacular thing to see. Country mouse, city mouse. That's what it would be. Look, now, look, these lines might move. But as of right now, this is all we can do. We can only do the as of right now of when we record in our schedule of recording things. They are the same. Both the home teams are favored by 3, at least on the FanDuel side of stuff. You'll see some, halves up and down. If you get news that Mahomes isn't playing, it's going to change this game dramatically. And no matter how much it changes, I just want to be upfront about this. I will like the Buffalo side. Chad Henne, I do not think. I honestly do, and I'm not trying to be funny. I am funny naturally, not trying. I'm telling you right now, if Chad Henne's quarterback of the Chiefs, no. Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl. We can agree on that, right? Before we even get into anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, I mean, look, Chad Henne could be impressive and look much better than we give him credit for, but I don't think he's leading the Chiefs to the Super Bowl in the AFC Championship.
What about Josh Pennington? How would you feel about Chad Pennington being that guy?
Chad Pennington could have fit some offenses. I was hoping that the Steelers were going to get him for a little bit before they drafted Big Ben, but I think I'd rather have Pennington than Chad Henne.
All right, how about let's see.
I might want Chad Ochocinco to quarterback.
I was gonna say, what about Chad Johnson? You go Chad Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, Chad Johnson was pretty high on that kids list. I guess he has 7, so I didn't know that.
Oh, did you miss the end of last show? we had the kids list. I forgot Travis Henry had so many kids. That's a fun over-under, right? How many kids? Wonder Phil Burns.
How did Antonio Cromartie not get like a Trojan sponsorship or something?
You know what? That would have been the greatest advertisement ever.
It should just be him with all 14 of his kids, like at the park, trying to wrangle them all up or something.
He needs the money. There's no way he doesn't. There's no way.
14 kids. How can you not need the money?
I mean, that would be the greatest thing ever. Here, I mean, I'm sure that they would get slack for it, but it's funny. Why not do it? I mean, have a little sense of humor, for God's sakes. All right, let's break things down here. So obviously, with both these games being the same line, the first thing that tells you is if this normally when you see the 3 Boggs, this tells you that if it was in the other guy's place, it would be 3 on the other side. Do you think that's true in this circumstance?
Yes, I do. I think for the most part, 3 is a home field advantage, even though, it's been tracked and looked at and everything, and there was really no home field advantage at all this season for any team. It's still the home field advantage.
Well, Packers are going to have some people there this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, they had people there last weekend. So
that's I
know it's freezing.
It's going to be freezing. Yeah,
very cold.
And that's another reason why I like the Packers. But before we put the cart before the horse, let's. It's
going to get down to the 30s here in the Phoenix area. I think as lows, of course, over the next week, and I'm not sure how I can handle it. And
the 30s in Phoenix.
Yeah, like at night, like the lows. It's going to be like 39, 40, because it's supposed to rain this week too.
That's like the high here right now.
I look at NFL weather. Or I look at, the weather for this game, and it's 31 degrees and foggy just at game time at 3:00 in the afternoon. which is just absurd to me. Like,
look,
I don't know how people can handle that.
We're going to go through these games. We're going to go through the props on DK and some other places too, kind of take you through some thoughts there. But let's start with the big one here. Let's start with the main stuff. Green Bay Packers favored by 3 against Tampa. The money line is Bucks plus 150, minus 178 for the Pack. 51.5 on FanDuel is the number. I got to tell you, I like the over in this game, but I like the Green Bay Packers. I don't think, Brady will not show up. It's Tom Brady, but I just don't think the Bucks have enough in them. And they looked great last week, but Drew Brees is a shell. Aaron Rodgers is playing the best football of his career. There's a huge chasm between those two things, and you needed all those turnovers in that game, the way things were going. And look, this is my instinct on this game, and I'm just not going to get shaken from it right now. And I am the biggest Tom Brady mark in the whole world. I got the Tom Brady poster behind me. I got the blown up draft card, pick 199 behind me. Got to call it like I see it. Packers for me, even with I don't think the Bucks cover either. I really don't. 51.5. I'll take the over. Your thoughts on this one, Pox?
I'm rocking with you on Green Bay. I'm going to take the under. I like the under this time of year. 3 games hit the under last week. So I'm just going to be on that, I think, for probably both of these games here. But I'm with you, man. I just don't. Green Bay looks almost unstoppable right now. They look like the leader in this playoff right now. I know a lot of people, if Patrick Mahomes was healthy, would argue with me on that, but I don't think you can argue with me on that now that Mahomes is good to go. Now, would it be the most shocking defeat ever should Tampa Bay beat Green Bay? No, it wouldn't be the most shocking. I would be surprised by it though. So Green Bay is just they're hitting their peak at the exact right time right now, which is what they did in Super Bowl 45 as well when they went on to beat my Steelers in the Super Bowl. So I've got Green Bay winning this game straight up outright, and I am going to take the under here.
You're going to take the under here. Okay. Gotcha. All right. I'm going to go over. I think 51 for this game with these two quarterbacks is just a little low. Like I think Brady will find some respect there. But
by the way, speaking of the weather stuff, the game in Buffalo last week, and this doesn't matter because we're not in Buffalo anymore. We're going to Kansas City.
Oh, the wind that they said didn't exist, and
8 miles an hour that they said, and then they still said it during the game. Al Michaels looks up at the flag and goes, "If that's 8 miles an hour, then I'm 28 years old." Or whatever.
I was gonna say, I was waiting for Al Michaels to say, "If that's 8 miles an hour, then this is my real hair color."
Right, exactly. So
that hair color does not exist in nature, Al Michaels. It does not. I don't know what that is. It's like reddish, brownish-ish, something-ish.
I think they just call it Al Michaels on the color panel. I think that's what it's called.
I was drinking something. Don't do that to me.
That's why I said that. So
don't do that. Don't I'm gonna ruin my microphone. Don't do that.
I think it's just called Al Michaels now. But yeah, that incensed me a little bit because we look at the weather report. It says 8 miles an hour, and you see that flag almost getting ripped off the pole.
Put a 0 on that. That was closer. It was crazy how much wind there was.
Yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of Justin Tucker missed 2 kicks. When was the last time that happened?
Exactly. It absolutely had something. Look, it had a huge impact on that game. There's no doubt about that. And I think that's why you want to write off a little bit of what you saw to the Bills, which brings us to the next game before we get to player props. Bills are +3. Kansas City Chiefs, obviously the favorites. +138 for the Bills on the money line, 164, -164 for the Chiefs, 53.5 is the number. So, Boggs, you can go first on this one. Take me through this game in your opinion, how you see this one shaking out.
I mean, I'm way more confident about Green Bay than I am in Kansas City, but I think Mahomes plays. I think the Chiefs are just too much for the Bills. The Bills have looked shaky so far in the playoffs. They did win, but only putting up 17 points was very surprising, even for them, even in bad weather. I think that was a little surprising. I mean, their defense did a great job stuffing Lamar Jackson, even before Lamar Jackson had to leave with the concussion, but it was pretty much all she wrote after that. And this game isn't going to have the crazy amount of wind. Now it says 11 here and possible light rain, 42 degrees. I think both these teams can handle the cold. They're both used to it. I don't think the rain is going to affect that much. I don't expect the weather to play a big factor in anything except for maybe scoring, which is why I'm also going to take the under in this game. And because the spread is so low at 3, I am going to take Kansas City to win by 3. But I'm also going the under on the 53.5 because, like I said, last week 3 or 4 unders hit. We talked about it many a time before that all these Chiefs games keep going under, Joe. So give me Kansas City, give me the under.
Yeah, you know what? On the road this year, the Bills were 6-2. It's pretty good. I don't love the Kansas City defense. I just don't.
One of those losses was the Kansas City, though.
What was it? Or no, that was at home.
Was that at home? Okay.
That was in Buffalo. I remember because it was like a weird rainy game, and I remember
a Tuesday game too.
It was a Tuesday game. Yep, it was a Tuesday. The ISO games because of COVID, and again, when games like that get shifted around, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire ran amok. We talked about it yesterday.
What do you think of Cowherd saying that if Mahomes isn't good,
he likes to say things. He likes to say words.
It's just for attention, right?
It's absolutely for attention. It's the dumbest thing ever. I mean, it's so dumb.
I can't believe that he believes that.
He doesn't believe that. He's saying it so we say his name.
Okay, all right.
That's why he said. And you know what? The guy's good at that. I give him a lot of credit. I would kill for half of his contract. Just half. Half of his contract. I am not complaining at all. I'm good.
Only the guys on the field that we're talking about are the only ones that wouldn't take his contract. So,
well, look, I still feel like somehow Kansas City just ekes out a victory here. Right. But I like the Bills of the +3. I like the points on the Bills side. So
you think it's going to be like a 21-20 game, something like that?
I think this is going to be, a surprisingly uninspiring. I just do. I feel like this is
the Bills and the Ravens last week.
I was going to say it might even be a little bit like the Browns and the Chiefs last week, where it's a little uninspiring. The Chiefs aren't playing their best football, but they have the best quarterback in the league, even if he's hurt. Right. And they also have Andy Reid, who's one of the best coaches in the league. And I just think they're going to find a way. If this was in Buffalo, I would feel very strong about the Bills winning this football game. On the road, even though they're 6-2, I feel good about them covering. So why would I even screw around with the money line here when I could just take the 3? Why would I take the Bills to win outright when I could just take the 3 and not overcomplicate? And I think that's the best wager is the Bills, because Kansas City just hasn't blown anybody out in ages. And if now Mahomes isn't 100%, that makes it even tougher. And the Bills, I think, are that team. They're playing with house money. They've had magic all year. They believe in themselves. And I think they're going to go out there and they're going to be fired up and ready. And I think it's going to be a very competitive game. But I would like the under, and I like Buffalo to cover in this one. That's how I see it. But I do think somehow KC finds a way to win this game, which is, I know, sad for all those Bills Mafia people who I absolutely love. They're hilarious. I just had a friend of mine who's one of them. He has this thing every week. I don't know if you saw this. My friend Kyle Rainey, he's a podcast host. So he's in Bills Mafia, and him and his friends all get together every week to watch the games in like a garage, right? In someone's garage out in Buffalo. And they turned it into like this huge super center of things. And they have a stage that they built out of plywood and things with a ramp, just like, like it was a wrestling thing. And after the game, they come out when they have a win. They fly the flags. They have all the teams that they were playing every single week. I got to send you these videos. They're hilarious. And they cross out with spray paint the team that they just beat. They start playing the Stone Cold Steve Austin music, and Kyle comes out, and however many wins they're up to, that's how many beers they throw him, and he breaks them. You scream some crazy stuff, starts down in the beer, Stone Cold Steve Austin style. When they got up to 12, it was hilarious because they just threw him 2 6-packs, and he opened all 12, and he's just drinking,
taking a beer shower, right?
Then they put a table, they throw a guy over a table, and it is amazing.
It's crazy how psychotic the Bills Mafia is, and then you see them also giving
$240,000 to Lamar Jackson
or whatever it was to Lamar Jackson's charity and all that stuff. And the Bills are a fun story. They're a great team too, and hopefully, I would love to see him win it. If there's anyone left here, I would like to see win. We've already seen the Chiefs win last year. I wouldn't mind the Chiefs winning again. I'm not the biggest Travis Kelce fan, but whatever. And then, I don't want to see Tom Brady win anymore. I'm sick of seeing that. I don't want Antonio Brown to win one.
Personally, I want the Bills to win.
I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan either. I think he's a weirdo. So let's go Bills.
I'm all about let's go Bills. That's what I'm rooting for. And I love Patrick Mahomes. He's my dude, but I want the Bills. I just want him to win. All right, here's some fun stuff. Right now, Super Bowl MVP odds, if you want to get into this, depending on who you think is going to advance. Aaron Rodgers plus 300, Mahomes 310, Allen 460, Brady 600. And then the only other guys on there are Devontae Adams at 15 and Travis Kelce at plus 22.
Hill's not on there?
What's that?
Tyreek Hill's not on there.
Tyreek Hill is plus 28.
Okay,
He's
I like
28
to
1.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it usually goes to the quarterback more often than not. I think right now.
I mean, we've seen wideouts win it before.
Yeah, it's tougher. It's tougher.
It is.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't think with Mahomes playing hurt, if Hill had a great game, the narrative is going to be Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill's not exactly well liked in the league.
The only thing is in the Super Bowl, they might have Hill return kicks and punts, and they might have him run a reverse. And if he scores on it, he would have all the receiving stuff plus potentially kick, punt returns. And I don't know if they'll have him do that.
Here's the point I'm going to make with this. If you think that the Packers are going to run the table here the next 3 weeks or whatever with the Super Bowl and everything.
Put money on Rodgers
now. Now's your time to get 3-1 odds on Rodgers right now. Because if you do that, you're good to go. You're golden. And because as soon as he wins, it advances, it's going to be minus. It's going to be like minus 210 or something like that, probably. So that's my only advice there. Here's an interesting one. You ready for this one? Most playoff receiving yards for the rest of the season. So Stephon Diggs is already ahead of everybody because he's got the extra game, right? Mm-hmm. So you got Stephon Diggs at minus 220, Tyreek Hill at plus 450, Travis Kelce plus 500, Devontae Adams at plus 12, and then the rest of all the Tampa guys. So it's interesting because if you think the Bills are done, you then have to say, okay, can Hill, Kelce, or Adams play catch up here in the next 2 weeks? And that's a fascinating little wager because
they catch up to that plus whatever Diggs gets this
right.
week.
Yeah. So what do you got? So do you think this is an interesting one here?
It is, but on my money, I would stick with Diggs. You're getting better than 1-1 right now on Diggs because they may not win this week. They could very well win this week. We just talked about it. How I think I might be more surprised by the Bucs beating the Packers than I would be by the Bills beating the Chiefs. And the Bucs are great, and Tom Brady's been to a million Super Bowls.
100%, yes.
And I agree with you. But I think 100%. I'd be more surprised by the Bucs winning than I would be by the Bills winning. So,
all right, let's do some more player props here. Let's do some passing yards. Tom Brady, 289 over under.
289 is a great number. Just because I picked the under, I would also pick the under on that. That's what
I agree. Aaron Rodgers, 279.5. I go over.
Yeah, I think I go over that too. I mean, they're going to be good at stuffing that run, so I think Brady's going to have, or Rodgers going to be.
All right, there's no number on Mahomes yet, obviously, as we're recording this. Josh Allen, 305.5. That seems like a bit much. I go under there.
That's under two. That is the narrative of the Chiefs should be winning, and Josh Allen has to play catch up and all that stuff.
All right, let's continue our narratives. Aaron Rodgers touchdown passes. Actually, they're all 2.5. Brady,
they're all 2.5.
Rodgers, and Allen. So the money on them is Aaron Rodgers plus 145 minus 182, Brady plus 165 on the under minus 210, Allen plus 145 on the under minus 182. To me, the best bet here is Rodgers with the plus 145 over of these three.
Yeah, I think so too. He's
got 3 touchdowns in him against the Bucs. That's absolute.
I honestly, I don't hate any one of those overs. If you wanted to take any of them, Josh Allen, I picked the under on all these games, so I'm not saying to go out and play all these, but the Zach Moss being gone means probably Josh Allen throwing touchdowns more than running him. But Josh Allen runs one in, and you might be screwed if he just runs one of those in. So I think he's probably the least likely for me. But I'd go Rodgers, Brady, and then Allen.
All right, let's move on to the rushing yards here. Aaron Jones, over 59.5, under 59.5, same numbers, 112. You like the over or the under here?
I would stick with the under. Tampa Bay really good at stopping the run. I think he'll have more combined yards than that, but I
agree. I like the total yards from scrimmage, but not rushing. Yeah.
I was going to say 50 or 60, and 59 is the number. It's such a good number for him.
Yeah. Josh Allen, 33.5 rushing yards.
I'll go over 33.5 for him. I think he breaks one big one. He gets 20 yards on one scamper, and then the rest of it is just barely any. I could see that.
I'm with you. I think I like the over in this too. What about Devin Single 39.5? Devin Singletary, I'm going to run away from this one. I don't want nothing to do with this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the majority of the run. So if I had to pick one, I would say over, but I hate betting on Devin Singletary because I don't like him that much.
All right, let's fly through some of these wide receivers. I'll give you the number and the name. You tell me over under. Allen Lazard, 45.5.
Under.
I agree. Mike Evans, 63.5. I say under.
Yeah, probably under.
He'll probably have 2 touchdowns, but I think it's going to be under
40 yards. Yeah.
Right. Devontae Adams, 87.5. I go over.
Whatever it is, it's over.
Yeah. Whatever it is. Gronk, 28.5. Over under.
I guess over.
I pass.
Just one big one.
He
could get that. Yeah.
I know. Just pass. It's not a good bet. Aaron Jones, 23.5.
Over.
Yeah, I kind of like that one too. I'm with you on the over. Aaron Jones over on the receiving, under on the rushing. Robert Tonyan, 34.5. That's a good number too. I run away.
Yeah, I would pass on that. If I had to pick one, I'd pick over.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Basically, as long as he doesn't catch a ball, you're good, right?
Yeah, under. What does that pay? The
29.5. They're all minus 112. Every single one of them.
I would actually put money on that. For is 29.5 yards.
29.5.
I would take the under, and I would put money on
it. Chris Godwin, 63.5.
That's a good number too. I'll say over. I think AB is going to be less of a factor than people think. So I would say over for Godwin.
All right, and I'm looking at the rushing and receiving combined. So what was the number in your head for Aaron Jones? Just curious. I don't know if you looked at this number. 87.5 is this number combined.
All right, then I'll take the under.
Well, that's why I want to know what you're doing. That's how you should always do these. You should look at this. You should have a number in your head. And then if you know what you're doing when it comes to football, and then you look at the number and you make your adjustment off of that. And if it's right where your number was, run away. Run away.
38 rushing yards, 40-ish receiving yards, because what was his receiving number? Jones was 34.5.
Receiving for Aaron Jones was 23.5.
23.5. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm good with those numbers then. Yeah, I would take the under.
All right, very good. So that's where we're looking at here. And look, there's a lot of fun things to get involved in, certainly. And I think these are going to be fun football games. If there's I don't think there's a bad matchup for the Super Bowl, because you get Mahomes and Brady, and there's a little history there with those two, and the NFL would love that. You get Rodgers and Mahomes, of course. The NFL, that's the foregone conclusion game. The 2 number ones.
Oh God, how much is State Farm gonna love that one?
Oh my God, State Farm, forget it. I mean, geez. I mean, that's not State Farm, is it? That's Allstate. Wait, is it? Which one is it?
No, it's State Farm, isn't it? Farm. Jake from State Farm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it's State Farm.
I can't remember.
I don't even know.
But someone was like, watching these commercials so many times, I'm starting to think that I have a real problem with Rodgers and Mahomes. They're terrible listeners. How many times does Jake have to tell them that there's no Rodgers rate or Mahomes markdown or whatever they're calling it, or Patrick Price? They just will not listen to him at all.
Yeah,
so,
it's
a dad joke. I thought it was funny. Joe.
No, I think it's very funny.
Joe almost died at my Al Michaels line earlier, and I got crickets for that one.
Look, sometimes you got to leave on a high note.
Al Michaels was mine. I said I heard someone say the other one, so
it wasn't yours. That wasn't yours.
Well, you said it, and then I had the joke. Right.
Yeah, it's okay. This is what happens when you don't laugh at my dad jokes for 18 weeks. And then we get to hear, or 19 weeks, however many weeks.
So
you roll your eyes at me. How does it feel now? Shoes on the other foot. How do you feel?
Look, I tried it, and it's the last time I'll try it. So. And I'll never try being a dad. So.
Oh God, good times. Yeah. So I look at it, and there's no bad combinations here. And Josh Allen against any of the teams in the NFC with Buffalo. Buffalo being in the Super Bowl gives it a whole different weird kind of juice to it. NFL's lucky. They've got 4 teams, different combinations that I think are all going to be good no matter what. And I'm looking forward to them. Do you agree? There's no bad combination here, right?
No, I would love to see Buffalo and Green Bay. That's the one.
I think that's what we're going to. That's what I'd love to see. I just feel like somehow KC's MO is they take it to the limit every game. The Bucks, the Dolphins. I mean, you just go on the Browns last week, and they always just find a way to win. And it feels like they're just gonna find a way to win again somehow. It's just it's tough, and I don't want Buffalo, Bills Nation to get all misty eyed and everything. But look, it's a good run, even if it ends this weekend. It's been a very good run.
Absolutely nothing to hang your head about at all.
Nope, absolutely not. And unless, of course, Deshaun Watson ends up in that division with the Jets, in which case might be a tougher road back next year.
I mean, Houston cannot trade Watson. If I'm Houston, I just won't do it. I refuse. That's an unbelievable king's ransom. It has to be that number 2 overall pick and your first next year.
Well, they also have 2 first rounders, the Jets, and Sam Darnold. They could put together a decent package.
I don't want to trade Watson. I just don't.
Oh, I don't. I think it's a disaster as well. But it seems like, at least right now,
him and fix it. Talk to him and fix it. That's what you got to do. You can't, especially in Houston. They just had Harden go to. George Springer just left. You had the trash can incident everyone talked about all year last year. Watt's probably gone. You got to find a way to keep Watson in that town.
I agree, dude. Guys like Deshaun Watson do not grow on trees. It's going to be tough. All right. Enjoy the games, everybody. We'll be back again on Tuesday to wrap everything up and look forward to the Super Bowl and put a button on the season as well. So that'll be a good time for us. So for everybody here in LineStar app, reminding you all, go and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your pods. That way next season, when we'll be back. So if you've been listening, you're being lazy, just clicking links, go subscribe. Give us a like, give us a 5-star review while you're at it. And then also, of course, go get that LineStar app and follow us on Twitter at LineStar NFL, at LineStar app, at Joe Pizzapia 17, and at Bogman Sports. That'll do it for me and Boggs. There's nothing left to do now except don't sit, win.
You've been listening to the PreSnap Podcast weekly wagering show brought to you by LineStar. Hit subscribe, drop a rating, tell a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode from Joe Pizzapia and Scott Bogman.